Good old prenuptial agreements, the sign of a healthy and long-lasting marriage. Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate, and these are the top 10 wealthy celebrities who regret not signing a prenup. Number 10, Katy Perry and Russel Brand. Russel Brand has taken over the news recently after he was added to the list of comedians who fell very hard from grace. After several women came forward alleging mistreatment, Russel's career was destroyed, and rightfully so. Now, for a brief period in time, he was married to one of the most popular artists ever, Katy Perry, for 14 months to be exact. Their relationship was rocky from start to finish. Now, while on the outside things seemed fine, Katy has revealed that she was well aware of Russel's behavior. In fact, the first time they ever met, Russel attempted to force himself onto her, but she took it as playful and pushed him off. She never got Russel to sign a prenup or anything involving a share in finances. However, when they did get divorced, there was a mutual agreement that they would share their assets earned together 50-50, even signing the paper with a little smiley face. If she had delivered that information sooner, Russel would have been left penniless and in prison before he could have written a book. Number 9, Jonas and Sophie Turner. Joe and Sophie are currently going through an extremely public divorce, with the latest information being that Sophie is suing Joe for the return of their children to England. A court filing set in place on Thursday called for Jonas to act, demanding the immediate return of the children who were wrongfully retained. According to Sophie's team, the wrongful retention began on September the 20th. The couple had apparently agreed to make England their forever home. The couple sold their home in Miami, and they were in the process of purchasing property in the English countryside. Joe had been in charge of the little ones since he started touring, while Sophie claims that he had more time available to be with them during the day because she was busy filming a little mini-series. According to Sophie, she didn't even know that Joe wanted a divorce until she read articles about it online. When the conversation was brought back up about who will live where, Joe changed his mind apparently, and he has been keeping their passports to himself, and so far his money is also staying right where it is. Despite the announcement of this divorce taking place in the beginning of August, it feels like there is something new happening every other day with these people. Number 8, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. On top of the domestic accusations placed against Johnny, there was also a pretty lengthy divorce battle with his ex Amber Heard that spanned over a year. The couple were only ever married for a fairly short time, literally just over a year to be exact. Now, despite them both being pretty successful when they tied the knot, no paperwork was ever signed, and their divorce was just a doomsday clock slowly counting down to May in 2016. After over a year of legal garb, Johnny was forced to pay Amber over $7 million, but the joke's on her as she used that money to bring a team of lawyers with her to court after an op-ed surrounding domestic allegations against Johnny was contested. And at the end of that ordeal, Johnny got his $7 million back and then some. Number 7, Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore. Ashton, of course, dated and was married to Demi Moore for a long time, but their marriage quickly came to an end when Demi discovered Ashton was seeing another woman behind her back. That old tidbit. Too bad for Ashton, she really should have signed a prenup. Their divorce proceedings went on for years, and while the former couple attempted to agree on some kind of a settlement, it just took some time. Unfortunately for Ashton, Demi is good at getting what she wants. After a ton of legal work and digging up dirt, Ashton ended up being a little bit more generous than he had to be. Apparently, Demi received a significant amount of money and property from That 70s Show star. As I kinda hinted at, most of that goal to win came from the fact that Ashton began publicly dating his now wife, Mila Kunis, and it was only a couple of weeks after they had already filed for a divorce. There's always been speculation that Mila and Ashton were together before the papers were ever filed, but nothing's ever been proven. If you ask me though, Demi's fury is proof plenty. Number 6, Mel B and Jimmy Gulzar. Mel may be known best as Scary Spice from her time with the legendary pop crew the Spice Girls, but it was Mel that was put into a bit of a scary situation when she divorced her husband and backup dancer Jimmy Gulzar. Despite being married for only 16 months, Mel was ordered by the court to pay Jimmy a settlement worth about $1.6 million, including cash payments and a property that was worth almost $1 million by itself. By the time Mel B divorced her second husband, Stephen Belafonte, she was forced to offer hubby number 2 a settlement of $6.5 million. He did not learn from the first one. Over the course of 2 relationships, Mel was forced to pay roughly $7.6 million in assets and cash. If Mel had put a prenup in place during either of these marriages, she may have saved herself a few million. or 4. But instead she was forced to pay way too much to men who clearly knew what they were doing, squeezing Mel for every bit of cash she had. Number 5. Adele and Simon Konecki. Adele is known around the world for her incredible voice and equally powerful stage presence. In 2021, she filed for a divorce from her husband, Sam Konecki, who was also the CEO of Adele's Drop for Drop charity. After over a year of back and forth negotiations, Sam ended up walking away with an astounding amount, $171 million. Paid outright. He would not receive spousal support, he would not receive any kind of anything, he just got $171 deposited into his account. Adele was essentially paying this man off to leave her alone for the rest of her life. Now, on top of the financial payoff, the couple decided to share joint custody of their son, Angelo. While not happy with each other, they have gone on record saying that Angelo is first and foremost in their lives. Being a parent is the most important thing that they could be doing right now. If she had made Sam sign a prenup beforehand, there is no way that he would have walked away with that much money. But then again, she's Adele. For all we know, 171 million is closer to like $200 for her. Number 4. Britney Spears and Kevin Federline. Britney may have recently split with her short-lived boo Sam Asghari, but it was her even more controversial backup dancer boy toy Kevin Federline that walked away with a lot of cash and a little bit of fame. During the early days of her career, Britney made her fortune on the back of her squeaky clean image, but that image was very quickly destroyed after a long night of partying, left her with a wedding ring, foggy memories, and Kevin. They had one of those little Vegas weddings, but eventually they made their way down the aisle for real. The couple were together for 3 years and had 2 kids together, but even having one big happy family was just not enough to keep these two happy. When Britney and Kevin split, they had not agreed on any kind of a money situation beforehand, so Kevin was ultimately granted $40,000 a month. A month! That's more than most people make in 3 months, let alone 1. Kevin was basically given a free pass to just chill and be a dad, while Britney, well, we all know what happened to Britney Spears. Number 3. Paul McCartney and Heather Mills. As one of the most important men in music history for, creating the Beatles, Paul McCartney had a lot to lose in the event that his second marriage to the much younger Heather Mills ever went south. Now, despite knowing what could happen if he did not get her to sign a prenup, he went ahead with the marriage easy peasy. Well, not so easy peasy, because after 6 years together, they finally split up and doomsday was arriving. He made the decision amid a slew of accusations that she was addicted to no substances and her apparent dislike for Sir Paul's children that he had from his last marriage. Now, because there was no prenup in place and he was, Paul McCartney, Heather walked away with a modest $40-ish million plus 70 grand per year set aside for their daughter Beatrice until she turned 18. We can't really blame Paul. I guess he just assumed that his second marriage would be his last, but buddy, third time's the charm. Second time is never good. Number 2, Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey. When Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey tied the knot in 2002, getting a divorce was the last thing on their minds. The young lovers fell hard in the early 20s. Of course, paperwork and logistics were not on their minds. They were too busy being happy and rich. Even though Nick did eventually touch on the subject with Jessica briefly, she turned him down and did not want to talk about it again. Prenups were insulting to her. The couple were divorced only a few years after getting together, and looking back, Simpson herself said that she should have signed something. According to her, she was actually offended when initially asked to sign the paperwork, telling Nick that they were going to be together forever though. Of course, forever didn't last, but thankfully neither Nick nor Jessica were very vengeful when it came time to split. Minimal money was shared, and if anything, they probably gave each other their stuff back rather than any cash. Number 1. Mel and Robyn Gibson. Mel is one of the more controversial celebrities around. He's played several characters over the years, from religious people to Mark Wahlberg's dad. This guy's been a busy bee. Now, when it comes to his love life though, it's been a rocky road to say the least. Mel did not have much luck in the love department. After being with his wife Robyn for 30 years, the couple decided to call it quits. Having decided very early on how things would go should a divorce take place, Mel was forced to pay Robyn $425 million, which was apparently only half of his total net worth. half. On top of paying her the money on the spot, she was also entitled to a percentage of his earnings from any future projects. Not only did Robyn get a ton of money from the Braveheart star, but his then girlfriend Oksana Grigorieva also received over $700,000 when Mel abruptly abandoned her too. Next time, you gotta negotiate, man. And those are the 10 wealthiest celebrities who regret not getting a prenup. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like to show your support and follow the channel if you haven't already, you silly Billy. Thanks for stopping beyond the screen, and we'll see you next time.